Hey, Chef Lachelle here in the Good Acre kitchen. Super excited to work with some fresh veggies in the kitchen today. I am doing a recipe that is inspired by our farm to school culinary trainings that we do in our school lunch programs, and so wanted to create some recipes that are inspired by that you can do at home in your kitchen. So we are here today working on this recipe. That recipe is our Italian caramelized cabbage recipe, but this time we're doing it with green beans because green beans are in season right now in the summer. Super delicious, simple dish: green beans, tomatoes, seasonings, Parmesan cheese, and breadcrumbs. And what we're doing for that is we're actually gonna get everything into our pot, and we're gonna stew our green beans, and then we're actually gonna put them on a pan and roast them and caramelize the top with breadcrumbs and cheese. So green beans, I love green beans. They have a lot of great qualities. They're green, which means they're packed with lots of nutrients. I have a nostalgic connection with green beans. You know, as a young child, my mom and my grandmom would help me sit out on the steps and pick the tips of the green beans off. And we have to fill a big pot that they put on the stove with a bunch of other aromatics and flavors and stew them up. Well, as a chef, I learned about a little bit more of an efficient way to do that. And so we're gonna do that today so we can get through this pile we have here. So what I do is I just line up my green beans. Sometimes they'll be kind of curved. I'll kind of keep the curved ones separate and the straight ones separate. That's just kind of the way I do it, but you can do it however you want. But I line up a few. I think I got like 6 or 7 of them here. And I'm literally just chopping off the tips. You don't want to waste too much of the product, so you only want to chop off the very tips of them. Some people leave them on, so that's also your choice to do. I like to have them a clean cut on the end. And then I just cut them in half, and we're going to put them right in our pot. And that way I can do multiple green beans at one time instead of one at a time. And I'm gonna just keep on going and get through this bowl that I have here. All right. So now that we're done with the green beans, we're gonna go ahead and get some diced tomatoes into the pot. All right, so literally just gonna dice these tomatoes up. I love putting tomatoes in foods like stews and sauces and things like that. It's really good. I had a couple Roma tomatoes, actually 3 of them, so I cut those up. You can use any tomato you want. Romas are good for stewing and sauces, and I used 3 of them because they were kind of small. So now I have the green beans in here with the tomatoes. And we're just gonna go ahead and throw in like 2 tablespoons of the Italian seasoning blend. And you can buy Italian seasoning mixes. I like to blend my own because I usually carry all of the individual seasonings that go inside of the blend. It's basil, rosemary, thyme, oregano, onion powder, garlic powder, and I put some pepper in here also. So I'm just sprinkling about 2 tablespoons of that. If you want more, you can add more to your taste. And then I'm adding some salt. So the recipe asks for, I think, 1.5 tablespoons of salt. I'm gonna start with 1 tablespoon because I can always add more salt later. And I just wanna make sure that I don't over salt. But these green beans and tomatoes are going to soak up all of that seasoning. I'm also going to put some olive oil. You can use whatever oil you desire, cooking oil. You can use canola oil. I like to use regular olive oil. Not extra virgin when I'm cooking so much because extra virgin olive oil has a low smoke point, so it will start burning too fast. I also put a cup of water in with the green beans, the tomatoes, the Italian seasoning blend, and some salt. So now we have all of the ingredients in here: the green beans, the tomatoes, the Italian seasoning blend, the salt. So we're gonna go over to the stove, heat it up, let it stew, and then move on to the next step in our recipe. All right, so let's get this on the stove. Gonna turn our fire on pretty high. We're literally gonna bring this up to the boil, reduce the heat a little bit, and let it basically simmer. We call it braising, stewing. and I'm looking for a certain doneness that I like. Some people like it more done, less done. That's really up to you how you want to do that. But basically I'm trying to cook it a little bit, and then we're gonna actually caramelize it in the oven as well. So you gotta keep that in mind as far as how done you want the green beans to be. Green beans are really packed with a lot of great vitamins and nutrients. They're vitamins A and C, a lot of minerals, calcium, iron, zinc, phosphorus, magnesium. They help with your hair, your nails, your skin, bone health, help prevent certain lifestyle diseases and things like diabetes. It's green, it has the chlorophyll in there. Chlorophyll acts as a blood cleaner. So there's a lot of great nutrients in green beans. You should get as many in you as possible this summer, and this is just another great way to do so. All right, these have been stewing for, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes. A lot of the water has evaporated out and stewed our green beans. So they're looking to me nice and ready to go to the next phase. You could go longer if you want your green beans a little bit more tender, or you can go less time if you want them to be a little bit more crispy. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, and we're gonna put some Parmesan cheese in it, spread it out on a sheet pan, throw some breadcrumbs on top, and get this in the oven to caramelize. All right, we are ready for the next step in our recipe. The green beans are nice and stewed. A lot of the water is evaporated out here. So now the next step is we're gonna put half of our Parmesan cheese in. We're gonna stir it in. We're gonna put it on a sheet tray. Breadcrumbs on top. We'll toast it in the oven, and then when it comes out, we'll finish with the rest of our Parmesan. It's gonna be delicious. So we had a half a cup of Parmesan total, so I'm just gonna put the 1/4 cup in for now. Ooh, that looks good already. I could literally just take a fork right now and go into this, but it wouldn't be caramelized if we didn't caramelize it, so let's do that. I've got a small sheet pan, and I'm literally just going to get my green beans into the pan, onto the pan, or into my baking dish, whatever suits you. Yum. Look at that. You really do want smell-o-vision right now if we had that. All right. So, looks yummy already. You could probably go ahead, serve this up exactly as is, but we're gonna finesse it a little bit more, and we're gonna put our breadcrumbs on the top. These are organic breadcrumbs. They have gluten-free breadcrumbs. So nice, good sprinkle of breadcrumbs on the top. And now this is gonna go into the oven for approximately 15 minutes on 375. And we're gonna pull it out and finish it off. All right, again, smells so delicious right now. The green beans are done, nice and caramelized for us, and you could go longer on the caramelization if you wanted to get more brown. I'm good with where we're at with this. It's gonna be nice and crispy. And so then I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle the other half of our Parmesan cheese on there. Kind of let it melt, and then I can eat this as a side. I can make this my main dish. This is a really amazing dish, again, inspired by our fall seasonal farm to school recipes, but we just converted it, used it to inspire this summer recipe with our green beans. So you definitely want to make sure you catch our next farm to school inspired recipe next month. See you next time.